Welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of week 20 of this 2022-2023 Premier League season. Of course, last week it was the FA Cup, so we had a little bit of a break, but top scorer last week, even though there's one fixture remaining of this game week between Fulham and Chelsea on Thursday evening, was SportCat01, coming away with 15 points and 3 perfect scores, which is absolutely fantastic. And also SportsCat01 leads the way with 183.5 points on the overall leaderboard over at the Super Brew website. But let's just get straight into it, make some predictions for week 20.
Okay, so first up we have the 8 o'clock kick-off on Friday between Aston Villa and Leeds. Now Villa, very patchy form. They actually lost to Stevenage in the FA Cup, if you remember that, in the last few minutes. That Dendoncker red card really shifted it in the end, and I don't think it was Emery's fault, that was. And then before that they drew 1-1 with Wolves, and they're coming up against a Leeds side who nearly, well, we were 2-0 up against them. Yeah. They came back to 2-2 somehow, and since then they haven't won since November, so difficult, but I think Villa will bounce back 1-0.
1-0, yeah. I think Villa will gain all 3 points in this fixture. I am going to go for a 2-1 home win. In this fixture, Villa have only lost once in the last 6 matches. However, they haven't actually beaten Leeds at Villa Park since 2018. Both of these sides as well, been able to put the ball in the back of the net 5 out of the last 6 fixtures as well. So I think both teams will score, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 home victory, as I said, to Aston Villa. Moving on to the Saturday fixtures, we've got a humdinger, a massive match, live on BT Sport in the UK. It is, yeah. Manchester United against Manchester City. Manchester United turning things around now, 5 victories in their last 6 fixtures in the Premier League, and Manchester City currently in second position. The last 4 matches they have actually lost and drawn a fixture. The other 2 they've gained wins though. It's going to be a very, very tight match. I think Manchester City have won their last 3 matches in this fixture as well, although Manchester United have got the world record of 77 victories to Manchester City's 58. So tight match. I'm going to go for a Man City win in this one, 2-1.
Yeah, I've gone exactly the same, and to be honest, I go with the trend that Man City tend to win at Old Trafford, Man United tend to win at the Etihad, and I just think Man City have that bit of extra quality, especially if they can get Haaland scoring, so 2-1.
Also, Haaland looks like he's on the bench.
Yeah, he is. Alvarez is playing
in the Carabao Cup match. Riyad Mahrez as well has been in fantastic form for Man City too.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we got the first of the 3 o'clocks: Brighton versus Liverpool. Interesting one, this one. Brighton, cagey form, absolutely destroying Middlesbrough though in the cup, and then Liverpool losing their last match to, if I remember, Brentford 3-1. I don't know what happened there. Liverpool just fell apart, and then they couldn't even beat Wolves at Anfield.
No.
So that goes to a replay at Molineux now. So that's very interesting. I don't know where to go with this one, to be honest. I do want to back Brighton, but I just think they're a bit too inconsistent for me, and I think Liverpool will bounce back 2-1.
2-1 away from home.
However, it wouldn't surprise me if Brighton do win this game.
Yeah. Well, you're saying an away win. I'm going to go for a home win, even though Brighton have lost their last 2 matches at home. However, the talisman, McAllister, World Cup winner, is back, scoring goals as well. I think he scored 2 in the FA Cup, didn't he? Yeah. Van Dijk is out for this match. I think Trossard is 50-50 whether he'll play for the Seagulls in this one. But I am going to back Brighton, and I am going to go for a home win of 3-1 because of that leaky defence, and Nunes Darwin isn't firing at the moment, even though he's in my fantasy football team. Moving on to the next match, we got Everton versus Southampton. 2 of these, well, both of them in the bottom 3, both of them winless in their last 6 fixtures. I am going to give the edge to Everton though. Narrow match, not really scoring goals either of these teams. Okay, Everton had a very good draw away against Manchester City a couple of game weeks ago, so I'm just going to give them the edge, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 home victory to the Toffees, even though I think Southampton they beat the Eagles, didn't they?
Palace, This is a tough one for me. I think definitely the worst 2 sides in the Premier League at the moment. I can't see Everton scoring. I don't know why. There's just a sour mood there, and I know there's going to be a protest against Mashiri in this one. Southampton, really not impressed by them at the moment. 0-0 I'm going to go for. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we've got Nottingham Forest versus Leicester. East Midlands derby. Yeah. Forest starting to pick it up now.
And they're in action this evening in the Carabao Cup.
They are indeed. And they're coming up against a Leicester side who are sort of in the same boat, but they have been struggling recently as well. I'm going to edge it to Forest at the City Ground 2-0.
Leicester, for me, okay, they've lost their last 3 matches. Defensively, they are over the shop. I think they've got some injuries in defence, though. They're Nottingham Forest turning their fortunes around, now in 15th position, on the same number of points as the Foxes too. This is going to end up in a draw. I think both teams will score, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 scoreline. Then we've got Wolves coming up against West Ham. Now you're talking about teams in disarray. West Ham as well, winless in their last 6 matches.
They are starting to improve though, only because Moyes is starting to mix it up a little bit.
A little bit. Can they get all 3 points in this one? I'm not so sure. Wolves, okay, drawing in the league in their last fixture away against Villa.
He's getting used to it though, isn't he? I mean, 1 win, 1 loss and a draw isn't too bad, to be fair.
But for me, I'm going to have to edge it to the home side. It's only going to be 1 goal in this. 1-0 to Wolves.
Yeah, I've gone exactly the same. This one's going to be mega tight. I think Lopetegui's really getting there with the squad. And we'll edge to West Ham. I think they'll lose a bit of confidence, but then they should just about pick it back up. A really terrible form for them. Next up, we've got the 5:30 on Sky between Brentford and Bournemouth. Now, Brentford shockingly got dumped out by West Ham. I don't think anyone expected that, especially for a home side as well. And then Bournemouth, not in the greatest of forms under Gary O'Neill at the moment. I don't think it's going to improve for him, to be honest. Really, I'm in an hour on this one. It could go either way, but I do think that Brentford just about have the stronger squad. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0 to Brentford?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bournemouth haven't scored in the last 3 fixtures.
They're looking poor.
In the Premier League. They're dropping like a stone now. Just 1 point above the drop zone. As we said, I haven't scored in the last 3 matches. Ivan Toney is a little bit of a doubtful Brentford here, but the likes of Wissa and Mbeumo in front of goal, they're in amongst the goals themselves. I can only see 1 winner, and I think it's going to be comprehensive. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory to the Bees in this one. Then we move on to Sunday at 2 o'clock, where we've got Chelsea coming up against Crystal Palace. Now, will João Felix feature in this?
I think it's a stupid signing.
It's
not what they need.
It's a loan, though, isn't it?
It is stupid.
They're not scoring up front. Aubameyang's not scoring.
Yeah, but the thing
Havertz isn't scoring.
The thing is, what sort of player do you bring in when you're not scoring? You bring in a striker.
Yes, but
you don't play Havertz up front.
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. You get somebody who can create the goals as well. So.
Yeah, but it's not. You can tell it's just not working for them. They need a striker there at Chelsea. And
anyway,
Felix ain't the answer.
He may not actually be eligible for this match.
I don't think he will.
It may be later in the week, but I think they'll have too much for Palace. Palace looked woeful on the weekend. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Chelsea in this one, and Palace have lost 3 of their last 4 matches in the league too.
Yep, they absolutely have. Yeah, I think I'm just going to edge this one to Chelsea as well. 1-0. I don't know where the goal's going to come from, but who knows. Anyway, moving on. Next up, we've got Newcastle against Fulham. Both teams, as everyone knows, in absolute fine form. Newcastle has stumbled a little bit. 2 draws on the bounce, losing for the first time in forever against Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup. Only just though, when Sheffield Wednesday played really well. And they're coming up against a Fulham side on a rampage at the moment. 3 wins on the trot against Palace, Southampton and Leicester, winning the games they need to.
Yeah, those teams though around the bottom half, aren't they? So
not good, but I got to say about Newcastle, impressive, and they will bounce back. 2-1 to the Mags.
2-1. You think they'll concede? Because
I do think they'll concede.
Wow, against Fulham, Mitrovic perhaps, but they haven't conceded. They've actually kept clean sheets in 5 of their last 6 matches in the league. I don't think they'll concede here against Fulham either, and I'm going to go for a straightforward 2-0 win to Newcastle, which will cement them in those Champions League places. And then moving on to the 4:30 fixture. We got Spurs against Arsenal.
North
London Derby, all to play for. Conte will get them up for this one. The fans will be up for it as well at the Spurs Stadium. I think it's going to end up in a draw, 1-1. There's a slight doubt about Saka, but apparently he's going to be fine.
Interesting. I disagree with you. Just with Tottenham's recent form, excluding that Palace victory, it's been very, very cagey. You just don't know what Spurs side is going to turn up. Very defensive, very negative, I think, excluding that Palace game.
And they've lost 2 of their last 3 matches at home.
They have indeed, not a good record at home. But it's Arsenal. They've been really impressive. 3-1 to the Gunners.
Oh, wow.
Away at Spurs.
Nice.
Interesting. That could bite me on the backside, I reckon, potentially. Anyway, next up, moving on, at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, we've got Palace against Man United. Now, Crystal Palace floating around mid-table, of course, got destroyed by Tottenham, as I've just said, losing those crucial games, not very good at home either. And then obviously Man United, they'll be coming off the back of probably a loss in the Manchester derby, so they will bounce back immediately 2-0.
2-0, I'm going to go exactly the same as you, Nathan. Rashford is possibly in the form of his life at the moment. Scoring lots of goals, scoring a couple in the FA Cup on the weekend as well. Palace, they're out of form. I can only see one winner in here in this fixture, and it's the Red Devils, 2-0, as I said, in the final fixture of this game week. And there's actually 12 fixtures this game week. This one takes place next Thursday, which is 19th of January. Manchester City against Spurs. Pep Guardiola coming up against Conte. Conte's got the upper hand with 3 victories over 2 of Pep's in their meetings against each other. But I think Man City are going to smash Spurs 4-1. Kane will probably get a goal, but I think this is the one that Pep Guardiola is probably going to be targeting this week. And we've got Champions League fixtures coming up as well.
Yeah, they're going to put all their eggs in the basket for that, I think.
4-1 to Man City for me.
Yeah, I completely agree, except I think Man City will score 1 less goal and they're going to keep a clean sheet. I just think Spurs coming off the back of a North London derby defeat for me. I think they're going to be lower confidence. Conte's going to go negative. He's going to play for a draw to try and get them back into the Champions League places. 3-0 Man City.
Wow. So that concludes our predictions for week 20 of this 2022-2023 Premier League season. Make sure you leave your predictions over at the Super Brew website and also in the comment section, because we read each and every comment and have a good laugh at them, same as our predictions really. Also, this coming weekend we're going to be at a championship fixture where we're going to be watching Cardiff City, of course, coming up against Wigan.
Huge fixture.
In a massive relegation dogfight fixture. Will there be a vlog coming out on the channel? And how early is it going to come out?
Probably not that early, knowing me.
Let's get it out early, shall we? Rather than a day later.
Pub after the match, happy days.
Brilliant. Thanks for watching once again, guys. We'll see you all in the next video and enjoy the football.
Someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.